welcome to The Natural View. I'm Maggie Jaqua. I'm the content director of WholeFoods Magazine, and I'm joined by my co-host, Todd Pauli of 24 Stories Marketing. Hi, Todd.
Hello, Maggie.
How's it going? Good?
Good, good. Excited about this one.
All right, because we do have a very special guest today. I'm thrilled. I love watching this guy. This is Chris Kilham. He's the medicine hunter. Chris has studied ashwagandha for over 40 years. So if you want to know more about this adaptogenic plant, for promoting health, this is the guy you talk to. So we are here to talk to him about ashwagandha today. Welcome, Chris.
It's a pleasure to be on with you today.
All right.
Yeah,
great.
likewise. So, as we're here talking about ashwagandha, I'm wondering, generally speaking, adaptogens have become such a big topic. Consumer awareness has skyrocketed over the last couple of years, and that brings into focus herbs like ashwagandha. Can you tell me a little bit from your perspective, what's driving the interest?
Well, I think the interest in adaptogens has kind of come about by several ways. One, I think that many prominent herbalists for the last 10, 15 years have really been hammering away at the use of adaptogens. I mean, I know I have, and I know that dozens of my colleagues in the botanical world have. And this is because when you consider the herbs that are out there in the market today, the adaptogens, that very, very small group of botanicals that enhances endurance and stamina and boosts energy and helps you to sleep and reduces stress and, is good for your heart and your immune function and on and on. These are among the most broadly beneficial botanicals in the world, and you can feel them. If you take ginkgo biloba, you may know from the studies that you read that enhances microvascular circulation, but nobody's going to say, wow, I can really feel the fine vessels in my ears just expanding a tiny little bit. That's crazy talk, okay? Same thing with milk thistle. Nobody goes, wow, I can really feel those liver enzymes changing. But with adaptogens, you have an experience. So I think that especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, in which people have been terribly, terribly stressed out, mentally foggy, losing sleep, all of the awful lifestyle factors that have come with this pandemic, the adaptogens have gained even greater prominence because they help people to have a better and more comfortable experience.
It's so interesting. I know on your website, medicinehunter.com, and for anybody out there who hasn't checked it out, there's so much great content on there, just educational and so interesting. So definitely check that out. But you note that basically of all the medicinal plants used in Ayurveda, ashwagandha is the most highly prized, and that it's used for virtually everything. And you just gave us like a great overview of all these benefits. So there's a lot to know, obviously, about ashwagandha. And with its popularity and being so in demand, obviously it's really important to stay informed. And that's something that we're here to talk about. We have a new educational initiative, and it's called the Ashwagandha Experience. And it's brought to us by WholeFoods Magazine and KSM-66. So this company is just dedicated to really informing and educating industry members on all the benefits of ashwagandha. And so each month, starting in August, we're going to present new information. We're going to have insights and discoveries in the form of videos. There'll be white papers, there'll be deep dives, infographics, blogs, and more. So Chris, what can we expect to learn about in the Ashwagandha Experience?
Well, ashwagandha, it's one of those new oldest botanicals. I mean, it's only really now popular. Talk about a slow burn. It's taken like 4,000 years of use to get to this popularity. But I think what you can expect to learn is what ashwagandha is, why the utilization of the root has gone on certainly in Indian Ayurveda for over 4,000 years, what the traditional ways of employing this plant are, for sexual and reproductive health, for helping people to recover from fatigue, basically getting their energy and stamina back if they've suffered some, and many more purposes. And also, you'll learn about the modern studies that corroborate many of the traditional uses. We now have excellent studies on, enhancing cardiorespiratory performance, which right now with the Olympics going on is sort of timely because that has everything to do with how much oxygen you can deliver to your body in every breath and beat. Studies showing that ashwagandha root extract really helps with mental function, and in a broad number of ways, not just one way, but short-term and long-term recall, mental clarity, thought formation, reduction of mental fatigue. There are so many things about ashwagandha that people can know. We want to take people into the world of organic ashwagandha cultivation, talk about how clean and green extraction and organics really do add up to the healthiest type of product that you can consume, and basically cover the different aspects of health enhancement with ashwagandha in thorough and brief ways, so that people can, if they want to take a little bit of a deeper dive, they can, and if they kind of want to get it briefly, as a lot of people do these days, they can also have that.
Yeah, excellent. And one of the things I love about Chris, your approach to education, your videos and your posts, is that you really bring like whatever you're talking about to life. One of the things we say in journalism is show, don't tell, right? Like let people experience it. So, when you're teaching about ashwagandha, you really get the story about, all the other herbs that you talk about too. And we experience it through you. And that's one of the reasons that we're calling this the Ashwagandha Experience. And also, as you touched on, because this is an herb that you feel. And that's something you've really talked about, and you touched on already. But, assuming you're taking a quality product and you're getting a good ingredient, you're going to really experience that. And that's kind of why we've kind of come full circle with this Ashwagandha Experience. So I think there's going to be a lot of great content there.
Oh, yeah. This is a quick story, but the first time I lived in the Amazon with Native people, I stayed on the river for a month with this particular group of natives, and we went all over meeting shamans. And I met this one 103-year-old woman shaman who was like the shaman of all the shamans. And we'd never met before, and she was hard to get to, and she didn't know anything about me. And she sat me down and she looked at me and she said, "You bridge the worlds. You tell people about each other." And she went on to explain how fostering great understanding between people was really important, especially at a time of so much division and strife. And part of my work with ashwagandha and with all other botanicals is showing the world from which these things derive. Many people's experience is that herbs come from the shelves of Vitamin Shop or Whole Foods or the local co-op. Or maybe a little herbal store, not that they come from India and China and Angola and Chile and Siberia and parts unknown, from millions of people who toil in fields and mountains and forests all the time. So part of the Ashwagandha Experience message is also bringing to the foreground the backstory, which is an entire half of the whole story of this particularly marvelous botanical.
Yeah, I love this. So, when I think about this whole experience, I really think about a 360-degree look at an ingredient, an herb, and, also up and down, right? Like you said earlier, you can get in and you can take this content, you can take, an overview if you like, but you can go really deep on all aspects of it. And as we know right now, the story of origin, where things come from, is so important to consumers and retailers alike. So I just love this whole program. Are there any other final key takeaways that we should keep in mind as this program begins?
Well, as you stated, this is brought to people by WholeFoods Magazine and by KSM-66 Ashwagandha. And I'll just say very frankly that the reason that I work as an advisor to KSM-66 is that, in my estimation, they've done a spectacular job of bringing ashwagandha root and the tradition and legend and lore and science and good practices of this extract to the fore. So I'm looking forward to everything that we put out, and I'm looking forward to people becoming more informed about ashwagandha so they can understand the health benefits that they can derive from this botanical.
Excellent. Well, we are going to start delivering this content in August. So you can watch for it on WholeFoodsMagazine.com, and we'll be hearing more from Chris as we go along. So thank you for giving us the rundown, and we'll keep delivering this great information. So thanks.
Well, thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Todd. You take
Thanks,
good
Chris.
care.
All right.
You too.